The first question is, where are you at right now?
Where I'm at? I'm in Ecuador. I'm in Guayaquil.
Okay, and what is your work in Guayaquil?
I work with the street kids, Proyectos Salesianos Chicos de la Calle. It's a project that was funded by three priests. Right now, two priests are in charge of it. They run, it's three different stages. I work in the first stage, which is Patumipana, and we work with the root. Basically, we go out, we pick up kids from the streets, kids that have problems, kids that need help, pick them up and try bringing up their hopes. Everything we got, clothes, food, whatever it is. And if they want to change, we send them to the second stage. They get school, they get school aid, they get everything, home, whatever it is. They start, let's say these kids look for their families, they don't know who they are. In the second stage, that's what they start looking for. The social workers there, the educators, the teachers, they're there to help you find your family. Let's say that gets straightened out. From there, you go to Duran, and that's the third stage. And right there, they have workshops where you actually can come out, which is basically high, and they can come out, and you can come out already with something in mind. They have two different workshops. They have mechanical engineering, I think, and then wood shop. Right now, I'm in Guayaquil.
Tell me, Giovanni's day. What is one day of your life in Guayaquil with the street?
Oh, my day. Wake up in the morning, let's say around 6 o'clock, 6:30. Wake everybody up. Tell them, let's go. We got to get the chores. Those who don't do chores don't get no breakfast. You got to be hard on them because they're not used to being, oh, please, come on, I'm asking you a favor. Like, you have to be firm with them because they're not used to it. So, I mean, sometimes you have to be, like, demanding, but not so much where you're forcing them. After that, we have breakfast. After that, they have a session of half hour where they can wash their clothes. They can do whatever they need to do. They need to get ready. They need to brush their teeth. They need to wash their shoes. They need to wash themselves, whatever it is. After that, we have an hour and a half of us studying. Basically, we just sit down with all the kids and whatever they don't know, let's say they're ABCs, let's say they're 1, 2, 3s, let's say they don't know how to add, let's say they don't know how to divide, they don't know how to subtract. That's what we help them with. We sit down with them, help them out, and after that, it's my job, me usually and another volunteer or sometimes by myself, we go out to the street, we walk the street of Guayaquil, and if you see a kid, your job is to try to motivate him to come back with you, whatever it is. I mean, you could try, there's different types of methods you could do. You could try, you try talking, they don't want to talk to you, you give them a popsicle, oh shit. They're happy, they're excited. They're like, oh, this guy's cool. But at the same time, you can't approach them too good because they might think you're somebody else. You're somebody that's just trying to take advantage of them. So you have to come out them as straight out, like, you need help, I'm here to help. Like, do you need food? Are you hungry? And most of the things that works with me that I tell them is, like, do you know so-and-so? And they're like, oh, yeah. Oh, well, he's over there with me. He's at El Patio with me. And they're, oh, really? Yeah. And right now we're playing soccer. We're going to play a soccer game. You want to come? Are you good? Yeah. All right. You better be good because if you're not, boy, I'm going to throw you back out. But you're just playing with them. But they know. So basically we are St. John Bosco. We go out and look for these kids. We go out and bring these kids from the street. Like, you see these kids in drawers. You see these kids in socks. You see these kids that have no shoes, and it's hot as hell. You see these kids that are full of dirt. They haven't taken a shower in weeks. Weeks. The only time they take a shower is probably when it rains. And thank God it's February over here because it rains a lot. Kids are living under cardboard boxes. They make houses out of newspaper, and they make a living out of goma. Goma is a solution that they breathe. And it's our job to try to convince them to leave it at the street when they come back because they cannot come in here with that. That's all we ask of them. They can do whatever they want. They could talk, they could kick, they could scream, they could yell, they could cuss. That's fine. As long as you don't bring that in here, you can do whatever you want. And then after that, we're here to help them, whatever they need. Voluntarily, I need a shirt. Voluntarily, I need to know what's my 1, 2, 3s because of what the professors are coming. You get 15-year-olds that don't know their ABCs. At first, you don't believe it. You're like, huh? Are you kidding? But you see everything here. Yeah.
Do you think you have made the difference in one of these kids' lives?
Yeah, I have. I feel it when they, I don't feel it as much when they're with me here. I feel it later on when they're gone to the other stages. When they're in the second stage, when I see them on the weekend, they'll be like, hey, what's up? Like, how we doing? Like, hey, man, thanks. And I'd be like, for what? They're like, oh, for picking me up. Like, don't you remember you gave me that popsicle? And I'm like, huh? Like, I mean, there's just so many kids we pick up. At the same time, you're like, oh, that's right. Like, I know exactly who you are. And right there, like, you feel, I don't know, sometimes I just think about the priests, and I'm like, that's what makes their day. That's why they keep on going. That's why priests do what they do. I mean, when they first met you, they wouldn't even say hello. They wouldn't even say anything. They probably only cuss at you. That's about it.
Well, that's amazing. Hey, tell me, why did you make the decision of becoming a volunteer?
Because I want to become a volunteer because I thought I struggled a lot in my life, and I didn't want them to go through it. I don't want those kids to see what I had to feel. I don't want them to have to go through what I had to. That's just something you don't have to go through. I mean, people will think like, okay, a kid's life is, you know, play in the mud, play with toys, play with this. I mean, these kids, it's not like that. And somehow I feel like I do relate to them because I never had that. And I just thought to myself, like, man, like, I wish I had somebody who could tell me to do something. I wish I had somebody who could tell me what's right and what's wrong. I wish I didn't have to learn the hard way. I want somebody to try to guide me. That's what I needed. And I see that now that I'm almost 20 years old. And this happened, 10, almost 15 years ago when I was living out in the street myself. But the thing that really, really, really motivated me was just small mission trips. Shit. Small mission trips, that's what got it. That's what locked it. I remember when I was in Miami and I talked to one guy on Christmas Eve. And he told me that's the best thing that's happened to me. He told me that's mission work, wherever I may be. I've worked in all South American countries. I do all this, I do all that. And that same night, I remember I felt God touch me, and he told me this is what you're going to do, and that's what you're going to do. And that's, look at me now, 2 years later. The past 2 years, I haven't spent Christmas with my family. And back then, I throw a fit. Not anymore. Because I know I'm doing something a little bit better. The past 2 Christmases, I spent it with the poor. And it's the best feeling in the world. Past Christmas, I spent crying. Boys that we got on Christmas got kicked out of their house because their parents couldn't get them a present. So they kicked them out so it'll be a less mouth to feed, so it'll be a less kid to give a present to. And somehow I found them or they found me, and they'll tell me the story. And that all they could do is cry. And me, all I could do was try to hold my tears.
When you were at the beginning stages of preparing and doing the paperwork and all that stuff, were you afraid? What was your biggest fears that you had before going to the missions?
Oh man, a couple months before August, anybody would be nervous. Even if you're doing a mission trip for 3 days, 1 week, 2 months, 3 months, it don't matter. You'll still be nervous. But shit, people were scaring me, telling me I'm going to the jungle. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. The only thing you can do is just be open to whatever it is. And I think that's probably the biggest thing a volunteer has to do, is just be open to whatever it is. It don't matter. If somebody tells you pick up all these chairs, you might say, damn. But, all right, I'm going to do it because I'm a volunteer. That's my job. Feelings I had, man, I was scared. I was nervous. Probably the things that would worry me a lot was, oh, what about this? Well, I mean, what about my school? I mean, okay, I'll set that aside. Oh, what about my job? I'll set that aside. Oh, what about my family? I'll set that aside. And what about my boys? I mean, there's a lot of things you have to sacrifice, a lot. But you just have to be willing to do it. I mean, at first, I didn't know what I was going to do it for. But now, I mean, I let everything go for my kids. I mean, you have all kinds of emotions running through your mind, running through your heart, running through your head, whatever it is. I mean, you have everything. Of course, everybody has the same feeling. You can ask anybody that's gone for mission work for more than a week, and they're like, oh, I felt this, and this, and they'll probably be the same thing. To just make a little sacrifice and change, you have to be willing to do whatever it is, whatever God's telling you to do.
How about your school? What do you think about the schooling now after you have done the experience?
I mean, yeah, I went to school a year of college. I mean, you have your whole life to go to school. I mean, shit, this is something you only get one chance. Before you know it, you can't go anymore. This has made me more hungry to want to go to school. Like, I want to get started. Like, that's what I'm going to do when I go back. Back then, I'm JC, man. I hate school. I don't want to go to school. I'm not going to lie like that shit. I did probably 2 out of every 3 times I went to school. And, man, this has just motivated me a lot more. Want to go to school.
What are your expectations after you come back from the missions? What are you going to do?
I want to try to go back to school. It's either go big or go home. I mean, you got to shoot for the highest thing you can shoot for. You got to shoot even higher. You got to shoot for the stars. Like, what I want to do, I mean, I want to go back to school. I want to get back into school. I want to get back into the fire department. I want to be a firefighter. I want to do what I would like to do, which is help. But I know that this has made me hungry for life.
Have you grown as a person? I guess you have. How? How have you grown as a person? What is different from Giovanni 8 months ago that Giovanni now? What is the difference between that time and this time?
8 months ago, at first, the only thing I heard from JC, oh, Gio, this is life-changing, this and that. I mean, this is incredible. It's one of the best. This is one of the best things that can happen to you. And at first, I'll be like, yeah, like, all right, cool. Like, are you done? All right, like that's enough. Like, but now that he was right. I mean, this changed my whole perspective in life. Everything, physically, mentally, spiritually, anything, whatever way you want to call it. It changes your whole perspective on life. And it makes you, and I mean like way more appreciative to everything that you have. Things like that, they change your life. They change your life for the better. If there's something I could recommend that I've gone through in my life, and I think I've gone through a lot, this is it. Go do a mission trip. It don't matter if it's a year, it don't matter if it's 5 years, it don't matter if it's a month, it don't matter if it's 2 or 3 days, but give yourself a chance and do it. Don't get me wrong, it's not easy. That's a lie. I mean, who said it was going to be easy at first? I mean, it's tough. Let me tell you, every day is a different story. It's never the same.
Giovanni,
yeah.
The other question that I have now is, what is your perception about the Salesians?
Their family, especially since you're so far away from home, you don't feel like your actual family. And they're the ones that are there to help you. Like, I have a problem, I'll call the priest. Hey, like, I don't feel too good. Like, we need to talk. All right. He'll be like, all right, like, let's talk. Like, talk with me. What's up? I mean, they are, like, your family. They are the only people that you feel here. Like, they're the ones that are helping you. They're the ones that are supporting you.
Now, do you think, because so many people think that once you become a volunteer, you will have to become a priest. Have you had that feeling, or basically the Salesians actually respect who you are as a human being, and they love you no matter what, even if you don't decide to become a Salesian?
That is the last thing that they do. They don't try pressuring you for anything. Probably that's the only thing. I mean, that's one thing that they don't try pressuring you on a lot. They try to evaluate what you want to do. I mean, because they don't know if you want to be a Salesian right away. They don't know if you want to do that for the rest of your life. They respect everything, and not every volunteer comes over here to become a priest. No, that's the last thing. I mean, if a priest see, okay, maybe, I'll probably just ask him the question. They're not going to tell you, oh, do you want to become a priest? They just say, hey, I mean, how would you like to do this for the rest of your life?
Talking about the iPads, do you want to tell us your story about your iPad when you actually couldn't believe that you will survive without it?
I remember I was telling JC, hey, JC, he's like, okay, so what are you going to take? So I told him, I'm going to take some jeans, I'm going to take a couple of T-shirts, I'm going to take like 4 or 5 pairs of drawers, some socks, my laptop and my iPod. He's like, Gio, you sure you want to do that? I said, yeah, JC, like, I can't live without it. I go to sleep with it. It wakes me up in the morning, this and that. Woo-de-woo. I need to listen to my DJ Quick. I need to listen to Tupac. I need to listen to my R&B, all that music, whatever it is. A couple weeks into it, it got stolen. And I'm still here. I'm doing fine. It hasn't hurt me one bit. Like I said, you have to be willing for some sacrifice and some change.
Hey, and the last question, taking into consideration that this voice recorder will be presented to the young people who wants to or are thinking about becoming Salesians or becoming a volunteers, what will be your last thought? What will be the last thing that you would like to say to these young people before we close this session, this recording?
Do it. Do it. I'm telling you. You should do it. It's the best thing that can happen to you. It is the best thing that can happen to you, because I'd probably say if there was a highlight about my life, this would be it. Because it's a different feeling when you walk out in the street and you see a kid that's on the floor eating crumbs, and you tell them, you hungry? And they say, yeah. They're like, all right, come on back. Let's go eat. You feel good because you know that kid, he's not Brian, he's not Christian, he's not Alex, he's not just that ordinary kid that he said his name is. He's God. That's the difference. You're not picking up some regular kids. You're picking up God. And I'm serious. You see God in the poorest. If you're thinking about it, like out of a scale from 1 to 100, if you got 2%, do it. It don't matter if you go for a week. Do it. Take advantage of it, because it will change your life. It will change your life. It will change your life, let me tell you. What? I'm 19. I made the decision when I was 17. And ever since that day, I haven't regret one thing I've done. Tell you. Ever since that day, I haven't regret one thing I've done. And I'm not gonna lie, because I was a kid. I was a teenager that was going into some wrong places, into some wrong people, into some wrong areas. Wow, it's not the way to be. It's not the way to go. But I'm here now. If you're thinking about it, do it. If those who feel, you think you've been called, congrats, and good luck to you. And I'm pretty sure, I wish you guys all the best.